Hello, hi, welcome to EmpathicFire. I'm your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for Virgo in the month of July 2019. What's going on, Virgo? How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Well, in the middle of my intro, you had a little bit of a flip in the cards here. So, Three of Cups, Three of Swords. Oh, somebody out there, and you guys, if you've been with me for a while, you know I don't jump all over this, but with 2 threes coming out and them, they're can't even speak. They're being quite significantly in combination a romantic overtone. Some of you might be dealing with a third-party situation. Maybe you're in the midst of trying to work on healing a broken heart or healing a broken relationship. Maybe you're on the outs and you want to stay on the outs. You don't want to reconcile because the Three of Cups would also talk about a reunion. So there's a little bit of a heavy energy there for someone who's watching who is dealing with a romantic relationship. A lot of third-party energy there with the 2 threes back to back. And you guys know me, I don't jump all over that normally. All right, guys, so back to the regularly scheduled program. Virgo, what's up? How you guys doing? Happy 4th of July for those who had celebrated here in the States. This is coming, I'm like 4 or 5 days overdue from when I was originally going to record your video. I'm a normal person, guys. You know, I have a normal job. I've got normal adult responsibilities, and so I just needed a little bit of a mini break. Plus, I was working during the holiday, so, you know, definitely needed to, like, recuperate some of my energy. But I'm back now doing your monthly, so here we go. Virgo, if you, like, again, or excuse me, like I had just said, if you celebrated the 4th here in the States, I hope you had a good time. And yeah, that's about it. All right, guys, shuffled off camera. That's your main spread there. We're going to shuffle now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all the cards are out and they're lying face up on the table, that is when the reading begins. Down in the description box is the timestamp if you want to jump ahead. Also down there's all the information you need if you want to order a reading with me. There are 3 different types to choose from. You simply tell me which one you want in your email, and we are good to go. But if you do happen to have a qualifying question before you place an order, you can email me at the same email address, and I will talk to you and answer your question there, okay? Also, be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, because, you know, doing that helps the channel grow. Doing that lets YouTube know that you're having a good time here. And, you know, love is love, even if it's a little gesturous, like, click, you know? Another flip here, 9 of Cups, so wish fulfillment and a lot of emotions there with these 2 flips that have come out for you, Virgo. Heavy emotions, you know, 9 of Cups is like dreaming and kind of adhering to this dream of what you could have, the possibilities of something, especially from a romantic or an emotional standpoint, okay? So some of you might be in your feelings. It is a Mercury retrograde. I think it started today. Today's July 7th. So I think it starts today. If not, it starts this week. So that kind of makes sense, right, with those 3 cards that flipped here in the pre-shuffle, okay? All right, let's cut all the bull and let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Please show me the outcome for Virgo in July 2019. Virgo's outcome in July 2019, please show me. Now you're being stubborn? Okay, there it goes. That was like kind of a weak one, but oh, and look who's here. Overall energy from the bottom of the deck. Interesting. I'm gonna have to tighten this up a little bit. Oh, these are like as close can be. Okay. How's that look? Pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and flip. See what's come out in your spread today, Virgo. Okay. Looks a little crooked for some reason. Not too bad. It's not the best, but it's not too bad. I'm gonna have to roll with it. In your outcome. Okay. All right, Virgo, let's figure out what's going on here. Please show me where Virgo is in July 2019. Please show me Virgo in July 2019. Please show me. Okay, thank you. Here, right? Yes, thank you. All right, guys, so coming into July, you come in with the Queen of Swords. Air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, so you might be dealing with one of those a person or people with those signs, but you don't have to. You guys kind of know that by now, don't you? But Queen of Swords energy, wow. So if this is you, you're not to be messed with, my friends. You're very much no nonsense, you know, the facts and only the facts. Let's not mince words here. Let's not spend too much time on pleasantries. Let's get down to brass tacks. Let's get down to business. I am interested in only clear communication. I'm only interested in truthful communication. And even if the communication between you and another person is volatile or hurtful, or not hurtful, but uncomfortable, thank you, uncomfortable, it has to be that way. You know, the Queen of Swords is not one to shy away from controversy or adversity. She's not one to want to tiptoe around a situation or a subject to, you know, avoid hurt feelings or to avoid making other people uncomfortable or even putting herself in an uncomfortable position. You know, the thing about the Queen of Swords is she can take the hits. You know, she's been around this block a couple of times, more than a dozen times. You know, she's a seasoned person, and she has this very acute sense of what life is like sometimes. Not all the time, but what life is like sometimes. And sometimes life is really tough. Sometimes life hands you a bunch of lemons, but you don't have sugar, you don't have water, you don't have a pitcher, so you can't make lemonade, and you're just stuck with a sack of lemons, you know what I mean? So the Queen of Swords is not one to want to paint over or somehow skip the hard stuff. She's willing and able to face it head on. And if this is your energy, that's really good, because, you know, any tough energy, and when I say tough like this, tough in quotation marks, tough energy, I feel a lot of times it's better to possess it than to kind of experience it, because it kind of gives you, not an upper hand, but it does give you some type of autonomy, or it gives you some type of ability to choose and an ability to guide your own way instead of being subjected to somebody else's energy or somebody else's agenda, right? And I'm not sitting here trying to say like you have an agenda or that you're out to get someone or that you're out to do anything in particular. What I'm really feeling at the core for you, Virgo, is you're just not about the bullshit right now, and that's the bottom line. I'm not about the bullshit. I have no tolerance for it. I have no need for it in my life. You know, if you look at the artwork here, you know, she's tending her garden or she's tending her flowers. And even though we can presume maybe her husband or some person of significance, their face is attached to that rose, she's willing to cut that rose off. She's willing to trim that rose out of her garden if necessary. So that's a hard call to make. If you have an attachment to a person, or if you have a certain attachment to a certain relationship, whether that be with a husband or a wife or your children or your best friend, it doesn't matter. I will get rid of, or I will put a stop to this aspect of our dynamic because it's not fitting in with the rest of my plans or the rest of my garden, right? And the Queen of Swords, number one, is not in your element, you know, Earth sign. You're more relative to the Pentacles suit, right? So this is quote unquote like a foreign energy for you, but I feel that you're wearing it very well. I don't think that you should feel guilty or that you should feel somehow bad or anything like that if you have to make those types of decisions right now, Virgo. I just don't feel that you should be overly apologetic, if apologetic at all, because like I said, the Queen of Swords is coming from a place of experience. She's coming from a place of knowledge. She's not being a bitch, or she's not being drastic or rash just to do it. She's doing it because she's learned some lessons along the way. She's been through the school of hard knocks, got a PhD at that school of hard knocks. You know what I mean? So I like that for you because, again, to be in possession of that power is a lot better, in my opinion, than to be experiencing it, to be receiving it. Now, of course, it's a general reading. Some of you might be getting that from someone, but I asked where Virgo was, and Virgo is here in the beginning of the reading. So I like that. Now, interestingly, I think you're here because you start there, at least. Correct. Thank you. Because you've been putting in some work. Seven of Wands, okay? Seven of Wands traditionally talks about a defensive position, defensive maneuvers. You know, you have a certain standpoint, you have a certain opinion, you have certain feelings and convictions about something, and you stand your ground. Because people have, you know, they want to contradict you, they want to challenge you in some type of way, they don't agree with you, etc., etc., etc. And that's not really indicated here by looking at this depiction of a toilet surrounded by toothbrushes. But there's like this idea of being so fixated that I think is, pardon me, that I think is really the point. You've really stuck to your guns, Virgo. You've really stuck to your guns. You've really said what you said and you meant what you said. You know, it's like, I don't feel there's been much backing down. I don't feel that there's been much curtailing. And that can, of course, have like a downside to it that also translates into you haven't been one for compromising. But I get this feeling. I don't know where it's coming from. We'll probably get it revealed to us later in the reading. But I just feel like you are within your rights to not back down, to not compromise, to not take on anybody else's opinion or anybody else's suggestions. To do things the way you want to do them is the correct way. And that sounds like an ego boost, and maybe that feels good to you, and I'm glad that that is, but as an objective person, I know that can't always be the case. It's not, I'm not sitting here saying for the rest of your life, Virgo, from here on out, you're always going to be right. You're always going to have the best opinion or the best idea of how to move forward in a situation, etc., etc. No. In this time, in this moment, in this relationship, in this situation, in this circumstance, whatever you're dealing with, I'm not even sure who or what you're dealing with right now, you have all the right to stand your ground because you've been meticulously involved in whatever you're doing. You know, that's where, you know, this whole toilet being cleaned by 7 little toothbrushes kind of gets me. It's like you've been working diligently at something, a relationship, a job, an idea, creative idea. You've been meticulously repairing something in your home or creating something in your home, decorating, I don't know. Whatever you're doing, you've been working at it with care, yeah, with detail, okay? Planning, effort, all that good stuff has gone into whatever you've moved towards, or whatever you're trying to maintain, or whatever you're trying to fix, or whatever you're trying to establish, etc., yeah? So there's this feeling, I don't know where it's coming from, that, well, it comes from the innate or the traditional interpretation of this card, is that people have challenged you along the way. People have pushed back on your efforts. People have rejected your ideas. People have been resistant to the changes that you want to implement on the job or in the household or whatever. And it's like, but I'm the one doing all the work. I'm the one out here busting my hump, putting in extra hours, minding the details, getting everything, you know, as Virgo tends to do, perfect, or your idea of what perfect could be. You strive in many ways, Virgo. You strive for perfection or something damn near close to it. And so I feel that there's someone or some people, or just the situation overall, that hasn't really appreciated what you've done, what you've brought to the situation, what you brought to the relationship. And so that's why we get into this no-nonsense, stand your ground energy, coupled with that Queen of Swords. It's like, no, I'm not going to be pushed aside. I'm not going to be told to be quiet. I'm not going to be told that my efforts are for nothing or my efforts are going to be wasted. Like, I feel some of you want to be paid in some type of way, maybe monetarily, but maybe not, but you want to be paid. You want something because you put in the work already, or you just want to be recognized for having put in the work. You might not even be expecting a result. You just want to be acknowledged, right? Or some of you are protecting something. Some of you are not holding on like desperately, but you're trying to maintain what you have already established for yourself in the job, at home, in a relationship, it doesn't matter. And so, pardon me, there's this feeling that I'm not going to lose here, or I'm not going to be, there's like a resistance to a challenge, which again, I feel like you're right to do, or if it's not your right to do from an objective standpoint, I'm so in your energy that you just cannot believe that you could be on the wrong side of this, or the losing side of this, or the side that's going to take a hit. Like, you just can't understand how that would work. If I'm not feeling this objectively, even though I think I am, I could just be subjectively so far in your energy that it's just like, I'm wearing the glasses, I'm wearing the rose-tinted glasses alongside you. But I really don't think that's the case. Now, what else is going on? You've got two, okay. Right, so you're making moves, my friend. You're making so many moves. And it's based off of what you deeply desire, what you wish for with the Star card. Major Arcana card for Aquarius. So you might be dealing with an Aquarius, but again, you don't have to be. You know, the Star is sort of like this woman. Like, she's elated. She is so wrapped up in, I made this amazing pie. Look at all the ribbons I'm going to win based on this one pie. And, you know, that kind of seems kind of far-fetched. It seems unrealistic. How can you bake one pie but then get like 50 ribbons? In reality, it's not true. But the idea of, or excuse me, the message more here is you want to create something, or you want to maintain something, you want to have something in your possession, like the pie, that's going to award you in some type of way, or fulfill you in some type of way. Like, that's what the Star really talks about, is I am aligned with this vision of my life, or this vision of a situation in my life that would be like a dream come true. Additionally, the Star does talk about healing, spiritual healing, as well as emotional healing. So that might be there for some of you as well. Maybe some of you have done some spiritual work, have done emotional work on yourselves. Maybe you're in therapy. Maybe you've gone and started practicing, you know, yoga or something like that. It doesn't really matter what you've done or what you're looking into doing. And you just, there's this energy of elation here, of feeling so elated, feeling so joyful, that for many of you, like, this is like, perhaps you've had a taste and you want more, or you've recently encountered a situation, a moment in time, a person, whatever, that was here we go, because now there's a potential for some of you, because again, it's general, so some of you, not that you're delusional, I'm not going to say that, but you want to be sure. Thank you. You want to be sure, right? So if you've recently gotten involved with someone, or you've recently discovered a new hobby, let's say, something, whatever you've done recently, or whatever you've been dealing with for a while, that you think is the bee's knees, that you think is the most amazing thing you've ever done, the most amazing person you've ever hung out with, that you've ever dated, whatever. You could be married to this person, you could be married for 20 years, and you're just like, they're my man, they're my woman, whatever. Because you're so assured, there's a part of you here and here that is like, and it could be because of outside influences with that Seven of Wands, outside challenges, outside blowback and criticism, yeah? But it doesn't have to be. But there's this critique going on of whatever the Star is to you, whatever that dream come true is to you, person, place, thing, it doesn't matter. You're now putting on your detective's cap, busting out your magnifying glass and you're wanting to analyze and make sure that whatever I'm attaching my dream to, you know, making this pie, winning a million ribbons at the county fairs across America, across the world, doesn't matter. You're like, can I be sure that that this pie, that recipe is going to ensure me that happiness? So again, translate that back into reality. Is that person, is that job, is this financial move that I want to make, is this professional career move that I want to make, is this going to really get me what I want? Now, you're not about the bull. You want everything to be clear, honest communication between you, between whoever, yourself and however many people, whatever person in whatever capacity in your life. You don't want any BS. And there is caution or suspicion or just weariness and just like, I gotta be sure, because you've been meticulous beforehand. And, you know, Virgo, you're not interested in wasting your time. If this is about your career and you're like, I think I could make a wonderful partner here, or I want a wonderful member of leadership here, I want to move up and become, you know, one of the I want to become like a leader in production, something like that. And you've been working towards that. You've been on your P's and Q's. You've been volunteering when you need to volunteer. You've just been doing everything to kind of make yourself known within the company. But now you're thinking, is that route even open? You know, a lot of times in career tracks, you want to ascend, you want to move up the ladder, but if somebody is ahead of you, or if somebody's already in that position, or if the company is restructuring and that position gets annexed, gets totally nixed off of the hierarchy, then you can't move towards that goal anymore. So some of you are, like I said, putting on your detective caps and you're going through all of the details, right, about this dream that you have, this goal that you have, this desire that you have. Can I really put all my eggs in that basket, or should I start to invest my time and my energy into something else? This is an evaluation, a no-nonsense evaluation. I like that. That's totally in your wheelhouse. You already do that anyway, but I think you're doing it with the swiftness and the coolness and the aloofness, emotional aloofness of a Queen of Swords. If this is an emotional situation for you, you're trying to be as objective as possible. If this is involving your family, your husband, your wife, your best friend, whoever that you love and you care for, in whatever capacity we're talking about. And this, if we have to talk about having to dissolve ourselves from another person, you don't want to be subjectively led and sort of persuaded. That's why this is coming out. And to me, again, like, you're within your right to do whatever you're doing. Because I don't feel, like, I feel the attachment, the emotional attachment is to the long-term outcome. Being the executive director of blah, blah, blah within certain XYZ company. To be the husband of this person and be the father of these kids. Like, that long-term goal, that's where we have this elation and this joy and this very subjective, very emotive thing going on, this very affectionate feeling. But in the now, in the evaluation period, there's a distance from that elation. The goal is still to get to that overjoyed perspective. Some of you, like I said earlier, maybe you've had a taste of it, you see the possibility for it, but that's all in your head. You want to see if that matches up with reality. If that's what I want, whatever I'm dreaming of in my head, whatever I'm putting down on my vision board, whatever I'm journaling about, whatever I'm dreaming about, whatever I'm sitting and daydreaming about, can I make that into a reality? That's what's going on, and that's your evaluation. Now, combined another major arcana with the star card, because I feel like you're having a cross energy. I don't know why that's significant, but maybe that means something to you guys. This X shape, right? So combined with that star energy, you have the Chariot. So, pardon me, major arcana card for Cancer. Some of you might be dealing with a Cancer, but you know the rules, guys. It doesn't have to be that. So here we are. you know, road tripping with these two ladies who have just gone grocery shopping, and they bought a bunch of soup for some reason. But maybe that's going on for some of you. Maybe you have some travel plans ahead in July or towards the end of the month into August. I don't know. Two women, maybe they're a couple, maybe they're best friends, maybe they're sisters, maybe a lot of different relationships. And for some reason, they want me to draw a line under this because the Chariot doesn't normally depict two people. You know, if you know anything about traditional tarot depictions, it usually shows one person and like two horses or two oxen or two sphinxes, two animals, the two is never in people, but in this deck it's people. So they really want me to show that or highlight that this situation is going to involve you and another person or you and multiple people, okay? And like I said, sisters, best friends, lovers, it doesn't matter. The evaluation for many of you, not all obviously, is going to circle around a situation or a relationship between you and another person. And you both have to agree. There it is. That's where we get the two into one. Because in the traditional tarot, we have two horses or two sphinxes or whatever. And in order to guide them as a charioteer, you have to get these two individual animals to act like one, to move in one solid direction, to agree to move the chariot to the left or to the right, you know? So now the choice, or not the choice, but the unifying has to be between two human beings. So if this is at work and you have a goal of moving up the corporate ladder, your bosses that be right now, they kind of have to agree. Are you blah, blah, blah material? Can you be a part of management? Can you be a part of the leadership team? Can you join the development team? Whatever, like there's, and maybe that's it. Maybe like you're having your work evaluation, you know, and maybe you're self-reporting, I'm amazing. I'm meticulous, I'm on point, I'm on time all the time. I know this job in and out, and you're, you know, giving yourself a rave review. Hopefully your boss agrees, whoever's doing the review for you or whoever's interviewing you as a potential candidate for whatever role you want in your job. If this is like a romantic thing or a family thing, maybe you and your partner have disagreements, wow, disagreement, disagreement, maybe you have disagreement on something to do with the house, you know, maybe you have a disagreement, if this is the card that indicates travel or movement, you might have a disagreement based on where to move next. I want to move to this state. I want to move to that state. I want this type of house. I want that type of house. And so we have to negotiate. We have to come to some type of agreement, some type of consensus between us of how to move forward as a unit or how to move forward towards a specific unified goal. And again, your approach, Virgo, is very strong. You're not mincing words. You're being very direct. You're being very straight up. This is what I want. 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 And that, you know, me repeating that 4 times like that doesn't sound like you're much in the mood to negotiate. And again, I think that's because you put in all this time and this effort and this detailed energy being so specific about what you want or what you're moving towards, what's going to give you that dream. Been very honest about it. If this is like an issue where maybe people have misunderstood you, you pull the Queen of Swords out of your wheelhouse of energy, and you're like, no. If you recall, and you pull out text messages, you pull up emails, you bring them back. So when we were at dinner 5 weeks ago on a Thursday, we sent the kids to the babysitters. I said, I don't want to live in Texas ever again. And your partner is just like, oh yeah, you did say that. You did. You know, it's just like the Queen of Swords is here to remind everybody, no. I've been clear about what I've wanted, what I desire, what I am moving myself towards the entire time. I've been honest. And okay, thank you. The honesty is definitely there. The other thing about the Queen of Swords is she doesn't bullshit you into thinking, and she doesn't pull the sympathy card. She's not looking for you to understand her from a sympathetic standpoint. She's very like, so when I said that, I also said this. You know, so there's something here for someone where she admits her faults. Of all the queens, especially when there's nothing to lose, she'll admit, oh yeah, I said this, and, or not that I said this, but like, the reason I said this was because I was in a bad place. So there's something there for a few of you where your honesty right now is admitting perhaps dishonesty or uncertainty in the past, which may have led to people being not sure of what you want in the present. People might be saying to you, Virgo, well, you said that, but then I remembered 4 months ago you also said this, and I just didn't understand. And you're like, oh, well, 4 months ago, I was kind of like in a really bad place. Like I was kind of doing too much. I wasn't sleeping right. I was off my meds, da-da-da-da-da. So there's this deep, deep honesty that could, to some people, read as dysfunction, or maybe not dysfunction, but just confusing. But I get it. As I'm sitting here and I'm feeling it, I was like, I get it. You know, 4 months ago, I was in a bad place versus 3 weeks ago where I'm in a much calmer place. I'm in a much healthier place. So please, I'm letting you know the 4 months ago was quote unquote like true at the time, or that's what I felt at the time. That's where my head was at the time. But now, 4 months into the future, into this present moment, I'm not thinking that anymore. I'm not feeling that anymore. I'm not saying that anymore. So for a few of you, there will be a need to clarify on a timeline sort of sense. Well, you said this back then, but then you said this, and so now I don't understand what you want. And you're just like, let's clear this up. Basically, 4 months ago, I was really off my shit, and now I'm better. Okay, that's interesting. So, and the Chariot again is it's a card about movement. It's a card about progression, and again, it's tied across the way with the star. So you're moving towards, you know, a lot of people will say the star is like your destiny, and you could maybe view it that way if you kind of want to have like a romantic feel about it, or like a very it doesn't have to be romantic like, oh, I love you, you love me. It like romantic, like poetic, thank you, like a poetic way of thinking about it. You could think of it that way. And so I do feel that for many of you Virgos, this is like quite a turning point in your life. And that phrase, you know, your destiny, or the idea of moving towards your destiny, or moving towards that next big step in your life, I feel that's quite significant, okay? Now, let's move on. So, if you've been on my channel before, you kind of know what's happening next, but if you're not and you're new here, I'm going to explain it to you. Next, we have the triplet. The triplet happens, I intend to only lay 6 card spreads, but when the triplet comes, that means I have a 7 card spread. 2 cards have appeared in one position, making this triangular shape. Now, the triplet normally is is its own storyline. Not normally, it can be its own storyline, or it can supplement or complement what we talked about in the 4 cards. So we're just going to find out what is all going on here right now together at the same time. Yeah. Well, so for some of you, this has been like a family affair kind of thing, whatever your family means to you, your immediate family, your spouse, your children, or your extended family as well. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, all that good stuff. But there's been an upset in the home. And this is obviously not, well, I can't say obviously, but I don't think this would apply to people who are like vying for that promotion. But in the triplet here, we have a lot of domestic energy, okay? So there's been an upheaval, 10 of Pentacles in reverse, in your happy home, okay? I'll show you this card upright just so you can get used to it. So what we used to have was this very picturesque, very idyllic, you know, suburban home. Looks amazing. It's been put on a decorative plate and it's being held up by a woman. So some of you, they want me to say it this way, but for some of you, there could be a little woman who does a lot of work. I don't know what that means. You can interpret little woman in terms of stature. You can interpret little woman in terms of age. You could interpret little woman as in like quiet or meek, but whatever. But there's been a woman of significance, a little woman that has been holding shit together, or has been the foundation, the rock of the family. But now we have this upturn. So she's not there anymore, or her ability to hold it all together has been lost, or is somehow disabled, or disabled, excuse me, or disabled. And is just basically not as available as it once was. Now, in terms of the traditional understanding of the Ten of Pentacles, Virgo, we're talking legacy. We can be talking about inheritances or large sums of money that have been saved, or that are communal to a family, held up in insurance, or whatever we're talking about, yeah? And legacy also in terms of like generational lines, you know, passing on the torch from one generation to the next, and kind of having people's different perspectives or goals or insights kind of taken into account, you know? But again, destabilization of that. Now again, the Ten of Pentacles is about your family, whatever family means to you. That could be you and your partner. That could be the legacy we're talking about between you and your spouse, you and your long-term boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Or we could be talking, like I said, generations. You, your parents, your grandparents, your great-grands, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, all that. We could be talking about that. Something isn't going the way you had planned, pardon me, or the way someone else had planned. Things are awry, things are askew, things have been kind of knocked sideways, or they've been completely dismantled, completely lit on fire, and, you know, thrown down the garbage chute. It's just, I feel for many of you, it's that type of disarray. It's that much of a drastic difference between what we had previously, which was a lot more stability, a lot more predictability, a lot more accountability, and all that good stuff. It's your only Pentacles card, so I'm not gonna hammer too hard on the money side, because I don't think it's primarily about money for most of you. But for a few, this is a loss of money. This is, again, possibly a fight over money, a fight over inheritance, or a fight over insurance money and payouts and all that kind of stuff, or a complete loss of it, you know, or a squandering of it. Someone has squandered the money. Someone has, you know, used it up in ways that were not beneficial to the entire clan, to the entire group. But again, that's just for a few of you. This is more speaking to the foundation of a situation has been shaken up. You know, the predictability, that firm, I know where I'm going, I can put one foot in front of the other and not be afraid that when I go to step down, there's nothing there to press back up against my foot and offer me, you know, resistance. Like, to me, that's like one of the I have dreams like that. And that's one of the scariest things, to be walking and you're confident that as you're walking, you're not going to fall. And then you walk into a pit, or you, for God's sakes, walk off a cliff. Or, I'm sure we've all done this in our lifetimes. You go to walk down a stair and you miss a step, or you walk up the stairs and you miss a step and you kind of stumble. That's like really scary, because human equilibrium is very, 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 very sensitive. It's very, what do you call it? Not weak, but it's just like not, you know, like, it's not like we're cats. Like, we have like these other abilities that help us catch our fall. It's just like, no, human beings like are always just one step away from falling flat on their faces. Like, biologically, the way that we're engineered, we are like teeter-tottering all the time and we don't even know it. Anyway, so that's what it feels like, though. It feels like we're in this teeter-tottering, you know, trying to keep ourselves afloat. And it's uncomfortable for you, Virgo, because, damn it, you like to be solid. You like things to be stable. You might be a mutable sign, but you're also Earth. Earth is not about risk. Earth is not about, ooh, topsy-turvy, this is so exciting. Save that for air energy. Mutable Earth, you go with the flow, you don't mind a change here or there, but when it's unpredictable or it's unfounded, it's reckless, you're not about that. And I feel that for some of you, or not some of you, I feel for many of you, there is like a reckless abandon with that Ten of Pentacles in reverse. You have experienced that, or you're doing it. Some, you know, to be fair, it's a general reading. Some of you are exhibiting this behavior, but I feel most of you are receiving that energy, receiving other people or the situation at hand is just like, it's not being solid. It's not being straight up. It's a little weird. No. Now, beneath that energy, what's kind of in the foundation of it, or where's it sprouting from? You've got the Emperor and the Justice card, two major arcanas. Emperor card, major arcana for Aries, and the Justice, major arcana for Libra. So again, you might be dealing with either of those signs, but you don't have to be. It's a general reading. You kind of know the rules, huh? Emperor plus Justice. So Emperor is one of the cards that carries a father archetype to it. So some of you, again, we're talking about legacy with that Ten of Pentacles in reverse there. Some of you are dealing with your fathers or dealing with father figures in your family or even in your business. It doesn't have to be circled on family, but I feel this is heavily family. And just this archetype of the boss, this archetype of the leader, this archetype of the one who's in charge, the one who makes the rules, sets the rules, and enforces the rules, right? And it doesn't have to be tyrannical. You know, you can be an emperor that leads with love and care and all that good stuff. But this emperor, as you can see, is made out of a bunch of soup cans. I don't know what it is about this reading for you, but there's a lot of soup here. Okay. So maybe some of you like have a culinary background, or you know, food is like a big staple in your family. Maybe you have like Sunday dinners together. I don't know. But this Emperor is tough. So I'm feeling that you're dealing with someone who's very much inflexible. Okay? Stubborn. Stoic. And convinced of themselves, convinced of their own abilities, convinced of their own personality or their capabilities and all that good stuff. They're just like, they know they're the shit, or they know that they're smart, or they know that they're strong, they know that they have money, they know, like they're very self-aware. But the irony is that they're only aware of the things that they view to be virtuous. They're not so aware of the things that are detriments or not so great qualities about themselves. Like, yeah, you're smart, and yeah, you have money, but you're also cold-hearted. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, well, of course you're going to say that. And they like downplay or they deflect. There's just like not a lot of ownness about their own vulnerabilities, their own insecurities, and that's a tough person to go up against, especially when they're in a leadership capacity or they're quote unquote like the head of the table, the head of the household. Like, it's hard to come up against that energy. Again, it might be a father for many of you, but it's someone who has a quality of, you know, an old school, quote unquote, like an old school dad, right? Combined with the Justice card. So this person would believe justice is on their side. They feel that they're right. They feel that they have the right to act how they want to act because that's just the way it is. You know, justice is blind, so she doesn't see my faults, but she sees yours. You know, like that's kind of like their MO, or that's kind of like the way that they conduct themselves. And it's not fair. So the irony is that this person loves the idea that justice is on their side, being that it's like right next to them, right? They feel that justice is on their side, literally. But the irony is that justice is so close to this person that it's going to see them get comeuppance in whatever way that is. It could be a positive result, could be a negative result, could be a neutral result, or some type of development along the way. But the idea is justice as an archetype in the tarot is going to give everybody what they deserve. Right? So there's like an ignorance between this person, this Emperor person, and this Justice energy. Could be two people. You know, again, Justice could be an actual person. So this could be a fight between your dad and his brother or his sister. This could be a fight between your dad and the court system. This could be a fight between your husband if it's not your father. It could be your husband and the powers that be at his job, okay? But as you can see, I'm going to show you just on top of it, Justice is not playing games. And I'll show you again quickly. The Emperor is a tough cookie. Remember, he's made out of tin cans, which if we were all made out of tin, or aluminum or steel or anything like that, we'd be tough cookies. So this person is not to be trifled with. They're a formidable person. But Justice is also formidable, you know? Justice is, with a smile on her face, she's doling out the punishments. So this person, or these people, whatever's going on here, this is a fight. I don't think it's physical. I think it's more spiritual. I think it's more business oriented, perhaps, or emotional within the family. But this is a fight. This is two titans going up against each other, and that could be why your happy home is disabled. That could be, oh, okay, a very specific example here. Remember I said about the little woman, the small woman holding up the family, being the foundation. That could be like a grandmother or a great aunt or something like that. And she's, for whatever reason, no longer able to do that. So now we have two people potentially within your family or within your inner circle, whatever, vying for position of control. Who's now going to be the leader of this clan, the leader of this group? Who's going to be the one at the head of the table come Christmas time? Grandma, blah, 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 is gone. Grandma, blah, 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 now lives, you know, in the old person's home. You know, her hips finally gave out. She can't do it anymore. And the Emperor's like, it's obviously going to be me because I'm the oldest here, or I am this and I am that and I am this and I am that and I, you know, and obviously I'm the choice. And Justice is like, so you might think that's true, but also I'm like more invested with the family. I spend time with everybody. You don't even know, you don't even know your niece's middle name. And, you know, it's just like, there's a vying for position between these two people or these two energies. I don't know where and when all of that will play out for you, Virgo. And you might be on either side. You could be the Emperor, you could be the person who's represented by the Justice card, or you could be sitting on the sidelines watching this whole thing. But I feel there might be a slight overlap between what we talked about in the 4 cards and what we talked about here in the triplet. For some of you, you might be evaluating your own position within this family dynamic. Okay? You might be deciding, listen, I've lived with this family for the past 20-something years of my life. They're fighting over, you know, great-grandma Bertha's will and her last will and testimony. They're fighting over her insurance policies, and it's just like, I don't want any parts of this. I want to get up out of Dodge. That could be your position. I'm not sure. But I hope it made sense to you, no matter how it applies to your life. Now, your outcome, Virgo, for July, you have the Knight of Swords, so more air sign energy, a lot of air. You've got 2 of the major arcana airs. You've got the Queen of Swords, who is air. So a lot of that element is in you right now. And so again, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy, but it does not have to be. You don't have to be, excuse me, it does not have to be the energy. It does not have to be that you're dealing with air signs. Just the quality and the pervasive energy for you right now is air, air, air. Now, just to quickly give you what I know about air, or some of the things I know about air is decisive, air is quick, air is, you know, oftentimes no nonsense. Air can be gentle, like a gentle breeze, you know, that feels good on a warm day, but oftentimes air can be volatile and reactionary, okay? So you want to be aware of that. You know, air also would talk to intellectualizing and communication, right? And we are in a Mercury retrograde, so be careful. As much as I'm feeling good that you're in this position to make decisions for yourself and move yourself forward in decisive ways, don't be too hasty because, again, Mercury retrograde. So As your outcome Knight of Swords, you could be dealing with someone who is embodying this energy, or you would embody this energy yourself. And it kind of is what I just mentioned. You know, moving quickly, saying things quite off the cuff, possibly from a reactionary standpoint as opposed to a responsive standpoint, okay? And kind of like, you know, damn the consequences. I'm going to say this, or I'm going to do this no matter what the outcome could be. That has a time and a place, Virgo, and I'm not here to caution you as like, you know, I'm not here to like scold you or anything like that. I just want you to be aware that don't do it just to do it. You know, have purpose behind whatever you choose to do or whatever you choose to say. Have purpose, okay? Don't be frivolous, and because that's the thing is, when the Knight of Swords is in his highest energy, his highest quality, he will do things quickly, say things quickly, but there's a purpose. He understands his purpose. He understands his message. He understands his methodology and the result that he's driving towards. In his lowest quality, he just doesn't give a fuck. I'm just gonna say what I want to say when I want to say it, and all y'all can kiss my ass. Is kind of how he can be when he's at his lowest. So you have that choice, you know. I feel that's here for some of you. You have that choice. Well, all of you, you all have choice. But you know what I mean? Like, some of you could easily dip down low into that low quality, that low energetic field, and be like, just kicking in the door at like a family barbecue or a birthday party or something like that. So I want all y'all to know, you're all getting on my nerves. I can't stand you, and here's why. I don't care for you, and here's why. And let me tell you, the last time that you and I got together, the last time you and I sat down and had a conversation, blah, 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 and you will just read the entire room and let everybody know what they did wrong in their lives. You could have that if you choose to behave that way, but you don't have to. And again, this might not even be you. This could be someone that you're dealing with. This could be the Emperor. This could be the Justice person. I don't know. What I do like about the Knight of Swords in your outcome, what I do like is that it is decisive. It's a knowing energy. I know myself. I'm not the most mature of the court cards. Save that for the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords. I'm not the most mature, but I do have an ownership about myself. I'm not anybody's pawn. I'm not anybody's puppet. I'm not here to play anybody else's game but my own. You know? This person, this little rebel without a cause sort of imagery, right, is not here to operate under anybody else's purview and under anybody else's rules, okay? Very much a self-contained, I know who I am and I know what I can bring to the table, okay? And then again, your overall energy, which again, if you weren't here, if you skipped ahead, this came out in the pre-shuffle, or yeah, 9 of Cups. So overall, we're still talking very similarly to what we talked about here in the star card, wish fulfillment. What do I desire in my deepest place inside my heart? What's going to make me happy? What's going to make Virgo happy? That's what you want. That's what you're after. And some of you, this is a big call. It will involve moving forward potentially by yourselves, or with less people, quote unquote, on your side, or less people, or fewer people for you to count on, fewer people that you are close to, that you keep in contact with. I feel with all that air energy, that cutting, biting, you know, swift chopping energy, that you're going to be icing some people out, or you're going to get iced out, whatever. But there's this progression towards a happier place that is the core of the reading for everybody involved in this. Ooh, Lord, in this 4 cards that in what we talked about with your 4 cards, in the heavily family or heavily foundation energy that we had there in the triplet. Everybody is wanting to get to a happier place. But we all have different ideas of what happy constitutes, right? So for you, happy is XYZ. For the other person, happy is ABC. And how do we meet in the middle? what are we going to bring over from my criteria, and what are we going to bring over from your criteria, and how can we get those things to go together if we're talking about significant partnerships or significant relations that you don't want to sever, that you don't want to lose. Some of you out there, you're like, I can lose them. I'll go by myself and I'll get my own damn happiness and screw everybody else. And that's cool. You have that choice. But the bottom line is, you know, for me, you can only live this life for yourself, right? And sometimes your happiness does come in the form of being a little bit selfish. I don't feel that overall for many of you, but for a few of you, you might have to be a tad more selfish than you normally would be, okay? And then the air goes off. Like, I feel that damn air was on the entire time. The moment I end it, the air goes off. I don't know why I have to talk about that. I don't know why that's significant. I guess because my toes are cold and my fingertips are a little cold, so that's why. But anyway, Virgo, that is your reading for July. I hope you liked it. If you did, there's a like button down below. Go ahead and hit that for me. You can leave comments down below letting me know how this resonated in your life. I would love to read that. Share the video across your social media platforms, other YouTube channels, or across your own YouTube channel. Let people know what you're watching here. And of course, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because I like that. And if you like it, then we can like it together. All right, Virgo. I'll be back doing mid-Julys. I promise, I promise, I promise. I know I didn't do mid-June, so I apologize to you guys if you were looking forward to that. But a girl didn't have the energy. She did not have the focus. It was just not going to happen. But mid-Julys will be back. And of course, at the end of the month, although probably into August, I will bring you the August reading, okay? All right, I almost called you July. All right, July. All right, Virgo. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Take care. Bye.